Hey guys, what's up? Andre here from PSD Box. Today I want to show you how to make a faded black and white effect, which works especially nice for portraits like the one that I have here on the screen. And I want to show you how to turn this image into something like this. And also I will show you at the end how you can turn this into an old photo if you want, how to make it look like an old photograph. So I hope you will like it. It's not a very difficult tutorial. And well, let's get started. So the first thing that I want to do is unlock my background because I want to drag this group under it and do this over again. We will start by duplicating this background layer twice by pressing Ctrl-Command-J twice, and we will work with highlights and background and shadow, separately. So the first copy I'll name it lights, and the second one I'll name it darks. And now I'll create two level adjustment layers, one, and then I'll duplicate the other one, and I'll drag one of them between the two copies, and one of them it's on top of the lights and the second levels adjustment is on top of the darks, and I'll clip them. So create clipping mask. You can either do it by right clicking and choosing create clipping mask, or if you put the mouse between the two layers and press the Alt key, and you can see how the cursor changes, and if you click you can create the clipping mask. Now I'll turn off the darks for a second and I'll work on the levels of the lights layer. I'll double click to open it, and what I want to do here is reduce the contrast quite a lot. I'll give you the exact values that I have because I want to end up having the same result as the one that you've seen, but on your photo it might depend on the contrast that you have on your image. Here we will work for this adjustment layer, we will only work with the outputs level. So the outputs that I have for this particular image are 68 for the darks, and for the whites it's 161. As I said, this depends on your image, but you can try with the same values and see what you get. Okay, we're done with the lights. Let's reactivate the darks layer. And here what I will do is first change the blend mode of this to soft light. And now I will open the levels for this darks layer, which is clipped to the darks layer. And here we will not work on the outputs, we will work on the levels themselves. And the settings that I have here are 82 for the darks and 210 for the highlights. This will increase the contrast quite a lot on our image. And this will help us when we turn this into black and white, which is the next step. It will help separate the shadows and highlights. Okay, so next, as I said, we will create a black and white adjustment layer. If you want, you can create this adjustment layer before you make the changes on the levels, because that way you eliminate one variable, which is the color, and you can judge the black and white contrast a lot easier. Okay, and here we're gonna make some changes as well. You can use this hand icon to select the tone and make it brighter or darker, but again, I'll give you the values that I have for this particular image. So I have -1 for the reds and 29 for the yellows. Next, let's create that faded effect that I was talking about. So we will create an exposure adjustment layer for that. And here we'll change the offset to 0.182. And we'll also change the gamma correction to 0.3. Okay, and this is how we get this this look for this image. Next, we're gonna mimic the film noise. You can skip this if you want, but I want to add some grain on the image. So I'll create a new layer and I'll go to Edit, Fill, and I'll choose 50% gray from the contents. And now I'll turn this into a smart object because I will add some noise here, and I want to be able to control that later if I want to. So I like to work non-destructively, and I'll change the blend mode to soft light. You can also try overlay, but it's a bit too strong after we add the noise. Okay, so next we'll go to filter, noise, add noise. The amount of noise here should not be very high, about 20, 25, 15 or something like that. Make sure you check the uniform. I also tried Gaussian, but I don't know. I think I like how it looks on uniform. And also check the monochromatic to activate that. And click OK. The next filter that I will apply is this one. And this is just because I want to add some roughness to the noise and not have it so I don't know, so digital, so to say. And next I will add some blur to this noise, some Gaussian blur, just 0.5, just to make it look more like grain and not so sharp. Okay, so I'll click OK. And one thing that I like to do here is remove some noise based on the luminosity of this. This might be a bit more advanced, but if you want to skip it, you can leave it as it is and move on. I just want to show you how I do that. So I'll create a new layer mask for this noise layer, and I want to see this layer mask over the whole screen. So I'll press and hold the Alt key and click on the layer mask to see it over the entire canvas here. And now I'll go to Image and choose Apply Image. And what we do with this, with the Apply Image, we blend these layers and the channels. Okay, so what I will do is select on the layer, I'll select Darks, and the blend mode that I finally ended up using is the Subtract, but you can also try Multiply. Okay, and the objective here is to isolate a bit the highlights, because I only want to see this noise over the shadows. So remember that white reveals and black conceals on layer masks. So if you make the layer mask inverted, no problem, you can easily invert it by pressing Ctrl-Command-I. But what I want to do here is isolate a bit the highlights on the skin, well, wherever I have highlights, because I don't want to have the noise over the highlights, just over the shadows. So here you can try the channels. You can try the invert blend mode. This one, you can try the invert mode. You can see that this one actually looks pretty nice. You can see if I choose the invert, what I will do is mask the highlights. And what I want is to have this highlights visible and the darks to be darker. And as I said, you can try different blend modes and check the invert and see how this looks like. And I will set this to subtract how I had it, and leave the scale to 2 and the offset to 0. And I will leave it with the invert option checked, because I have this white here on the highlights and the darks are pretty dark, as you can see. So basically what I'm doing is I'm using this image as a layer mask. So I'm using the image itself as a layer mask. And what I want to do now is increase the contrast of this. I want the darks to be darker, and I also want the highlights to be brighter. And now you can see I have this background which is dark, so obviously I have to invert this, because right now if I leave it like this, I will have no noise here on the background because it's black and I'm on the layer mask, and I will only have noise here on the hair, on the face, and a bit over the, well, here over the hand. So I'll have to invert that, but let's do it like this. These are the levels that I add to this layer mask. And now if I want to exit this full screen layer mask, I'll click the layer itself, and as you can see, I'll have the noise here over the face but not over the background. So what I will have to do now is invert this layer mask. And now as you can see, I have a lot of noise here and not as much noise here on the face. If I deactivate this layer mask, you will see how you can start to see noise here. Actually, let's darken this even more, like that. And now you'll see it a lot better. See, the face is dark, so we'll have no noise. Wherever you have these dark tones, we will have no noise, and you will see it a lot better now. If I deactivate the layer mask, you will see the noise appearing here on the forehead, here on the nose, and as well here on his hands. Okay, probably there's too much noise, so I'll decrease the opacity to about 70%. Okay, so this is how I got this dark, this faded black and white effect. It's pretty nice. It's not pure black and white, it has less contrast, but I think it looks nice. You can also give it a tone if you want, using color balance. And the settings that I have for this particular one are for the shadows, -4. Make sure you check preserve luminosity, -4 and 0 and 1. just a bit of blue on the shadows. On the midtones I have 10, 0 and -4. A bit of yellow on the midtones, and on the highlights 3, 0 and -5. So just to add more yellow on the highlights, just a touch, a bit of tone. And if you want to even decrease the opacity to like 60%, just to have a slight touch of color there. Also, if you want to make it look like an old photograph, you can use texture. I use the texture from DeviantArt, from an old paper texture, but you can use whatever texture you have. This is the texture that I used. I'll give you the link on my website. You'll find the link to this. It's a free image. So what you do is copy this image and paste it over your photograph. I'll have to make it a bit bigger, so I'll drag this down like that. And now we'll have to invert this, pressing Ctrl Command I, and you will see this white area. Well, they are blue because we have to desaturate the image by pressing Shift, Ctrl and U. We're going to Image, Adjustments, and choose Desaturate right here. And now we'll have to change the blend mode of this to Screen. That way the black will go away, and the only thing we will have left is this white edges and this all this folds and texture. Obviously this is too strong, so I'll have to open levels and make the darks even darker, like so, and the midtones as well, something like that. And if it's still too strong, you can decrease the opacity a bit. Okay, so this is how I got this this effect. I think it's a nice black and white. It's not simply desaturating the image, it's actually adding a bit more of feel to it and make it look a bit more realistic, I think. So this is the original image, and this is the result that we ended up with, original and with the effect. So I hope you liked it. I'd really like to see your results. So if you use Instagram, just use the hashtag PSD Box, and I'll check that hashtag quite regularly. So until next time, this is Andrei from PSD Box. Thanks for watching.